In this video, we take a look at the figures that you will need for the Vintage Collection Tantive 4 playset, which lines they are from, and how much they will cost. Hi there Star Wars collectors, and welcome to another Bossk Bounty video. Now, as I mentioned in the intro, in this video we're going to be talking all about the Vintage Collection Tantive 4 playset. Now, I think it's actually supposed to be pronounced Tantive 4, but as I've never called it that for the purposes of this video, we're going to be calling it the Tantive 4. We are going to be going through all of the various scenes and taking a look at the figures that you will need to recreate them using this set. Now, I have made similar videos for the Carbon Freezing Chamber and the Jabba's Palace playsets in the past, and people seem to enjoy those. So if you haven't checked them out already, I will leave a link in the description below for those two videos. While you're there, if you happen to enjoy this video, don't forget to drop a like down below and subscribe if you're new, and also consider becoming a member for extra perks on the channel. With all that being said, let's start with the opening scene of Star Wars A New Hope. Walking in the corridor, we have C-3PO, R2-D2 and U-3PO, which is the silver or champagne coloured protocol droid, walking just behind. We do have a C-3PO in the Vintage Collection, which is VC06, which was actually re-released in the TVC 2.0. However, I've never been a massive fan of that 3PO. He's a little bit undersized and the gold plating is a little dull in my opinion. For me, you're better off getting the C-3PO that comes with the Ewok throne. He has decent articulation, he's vac metalized for that shiny look, and he was released in the Saga Collection, repacked into the Legacy Collection, and then re-released in the Saga Legend. If you time it right, you may be able to pick him up for around £20 or $25. As for the R2-D2, there's a lot to choose from. We've got the Vintage Collection VC150. Maybe that one's a little bit too weathered for this scene, so I'm using the R2 from the Legacy Collection cancelled line, which was also repacked into the 3.75 inch Black Series on the orange card. Again, time it right and you can pick up this R2 for around £20, $25. Alternatively, you could use the version from The Last Jedi, the 5POA version on that packaging, and that's a decent R2-D2 as well. U-3PO will prove difficult. This figure was a builder droid in the Legacy Collection. You had to buy the whole wave of 6 figures to complete him. Now, eBay sales currently value him at around £40 or $50. And also you need to be a little bit careful as well, because people that are selling the whole droid do have the parts mixed up, because there is a silver version and a champagne coloured version. And ideally you want all the parts being the same colour. In the very next scene, we see a bunch of Rebel Fleet Troopers. Now, these shouldn't be a problem at all, as you do get one with the set at the end of the day. But if you want more fillers, then you're going to have to look at maybe the Power of the Jedi line. Bit of a dodgy figure for this one, but in the background, he won't look too bad. Of course, he was released in the original Vintage Collection TVC 1.0. I believe his number was VC52. But again, that figure does command a fair bit on the secondary market. So maybe use the one from the set, and if you can get another couple loose, then that'll be ideal. Next, we see a bunch of Stormtroopers busting through the door. Now, for this one, I'm personally using the VC140, the Rogue One Stormtrooper. Now, some of you will say that it is not accurate to the original trilogy Stormtroopers, and you would be right. But it's the only option for a high quality Stormtrooper other than the Stormtrooper that was packed in with the Carbon Freezing Chamber. Another option is to use lots of the Han Solo in Stormtrooper disguise figure, but these are starting to become expensive as well. Either way, you're looking at about £30, $35, $40 for either the VC140 Stormtrooper or the Han Solo in Stormtrooper disguise. Next, we have Darth Vader. Now, you could use the Rogue One Darth Vader, however, this version of Vader never actually set foot on the Tantive 4 in the movie. It's still a nice Vader, but if you want screen accuracy, then you'll probably have to go for the VC93, A New Hope Darth Vader, which is still a really nice figure. Not as good as the Black Series 3.75 inch version, but as this version is actually based on the Revenge of the Sith, then you're probably better off with VC93. For a cheaper option, you could go with the reissue of VC08, which isn't a bad Vader either, but he does have that awful silver chain around his neck, which makes him even less accurate for the scene. Moving on to Princess Leia. Now, this for me is the biggest miss of the set. You have to go all the way back to 2004 for the Vintage Original Trilogy Collection, and that figure is in desperate need of an update. I recently saw her sell for about £15, $20, so she's really easy to pick up. But man, do we need a brand new definitive Princess Leia Organa. In the next scene, we see the captured rebels being marched along by some Stormtroopers, but just in front of those are 2 astromech droids. There are figures of these, so we'll start with R4M9. He was released in the Power of the Jedi line, packed in with a mouse droid. This is the only official Hasbro version you can buy and will set you back around $15 to $20, £15. Another way to get him is in the Droid Factory 4-pack released in the Disney parks. This set is pretty expensive on the secondary market. However, within this set is also the other droid from the scene, R2-Q2. He's the very cool looking grey astromech droid, and it's a good way to get both together. The only other way to pick up the R2-Q2 is in the Entertainment Earth exclusive Astromech Droids 5-pack. This is an official Hasbro product, but currently sells for a small fortune on the secondary market, so you may be able to pick him up loose like I did. I think I got lucky and paid around £20 for the loose grey R2-Q2. Next up, we have Captain Antilles. Now we need to go back to 2004 and the Saga series line for this one. And due to it being such an old figure, I have to say it is pretty limited. However, he does have the arms and hands in such a way that you are able to recreate him being strangled by Darth Vader. Other than that, the figure doesn't really do a lot, but it's good enough for that specific scene. You shouldn't have any troubles picking up this figure, relatively cheap on the secondary market, no more than $15, £15. To round up the figures from A New Hope, we have the Imperial Officer dressed in black. Now, we saw a couple of them speak to Vader on the Tantive 4, and this is where things become quite tricky. The Vintage Collection currently does not have an up-to-date Imperial Officer. This is something I think we need as an all-new sculpt, and this could be used as the base for many characters such as Captain Needa, Piet, and even a Grand Admiral Thrawn. But for the best current version available, you will need to look at the figure that was part of the 2-pack with the scanning crew. An expensive option for sure. Other than that, there is one included in the 2014 8-pack Battle of Endor set, which is another expensive option. Possibly another option could be the 2008 Legacy Collection Shield Generator Attack 4-pack, which is again super expensive. This figure only has the swivel elbows, however, so all in all, this figure is a tough one to get and is something Hasbro needs to address in my opinion. Now finally, the Tantive 4 does show up in Revenge of the Sith, so to complete this scene you are going to need a Bail Organa, and for screen accuracy the only one available is the version from the 2005 Revenge of the Sith line. You will need a Yoda, so VC20 could be an option, but an expensive one. There are however lots of different Yoda figures to use in its place, so just search around and see which one you think is best. Obi-Wan Kenobi, we have VC16, once again an expensive option. However, much of this sculpt is actually quite old and has been used on many figures in the past, albeit with swivel elbows. The 30th anniversary may do, although the face isn't a great likeness. I also believe a young Captain Antilles makes an appearance too. You can get this figure very, very cheaply. He was released in the 2005 Revenge of the Sith line, and although an older figure, it will do to complete the blink and you'll miss it scene. So there you go then folks, this is all the figures that have graced the Tantive 4. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you have this playset, how do you have it set up? I'd love to know your ideas. As always, thank you very much for watching, and we shall see you on the next one.